And so, you go home and you want to build this big team and it never works, never works. So we did all that. We did all the things and realized they don't all work for everyone, and especially when you're doing all of them at the same time.
Yeah.
Corey had done new builds and even had a construction company with a partner for years.
Awesome.
So, and he's been an appraiser for, almost 30 years now, I think. But anyways, so he already had the real estate thing going on, but he was looking into businesses to buy that he could run while working. So if I couldn't, or if I wasn't there anymore. So anyways, we got into a franchise, and I could barely walk. And he said, I think this is what we need to be doing. We talked it through. I said, I think you're right. If you already know real estate, why would we do something else, Right. And so he said, okay, well, I'll drive you there, and we'll go in. And he had to help me in and help me back to the car. I slept on the way there and slept on the way back. And we decided to do that. I hate to say anything is a mistake, though, right? So we learned from that. That was a very good learning experience. And but that's what kind of, speared it.
What sort of franchise was it? Like a wholesaling franchise or a home services franchise?
No, it was a wholesaling franchise.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah,
because you guys, I remember you guys were doing wholesaling for some period of time.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, but how did you find out about real? Well, so he was an appraiser. So, and he had this that he was already in the game a little bit, and then you guys were like, okay, well, if I'm not going to go back to work in this capacity, then you can get further into real estate and do the investing.
Yeah, you already know how to do this. So if I don't make it, or I'm a vegetable, you already know how to do this.
Right. Right, and then thank goodness you're not, because you are an absolute power player in what you're doing now. So. The wholesaling thing, you guys gave that a shot, didn't really work out the way you wanted it to, it sounds like, but you guys were able to build a portfolio and start investing and things like that. At the very beginning, what was important to you to build this business? How are you guys building this business and finding your deals?
So with the franchise, you'd put money in, they'd market. You weren't really allowed to market. So we did deals that way. Once we got out of the franchise, we cold called, we mailed. We did yellow letters, so we were handwriting letters,
Nice.
And it was super successful. I mean, way more than the postcards.
Interesting.
And we did texting a lot then too. So that's how we were getting our deals. And we were doing a lot of rehabs. We were wholesaling as well. And then we had a couple rentals. We didn't really grow our rentals very much because we just needed cash to come in. So yeah.
When did network become important to you?
Immediately.
Why was it? Why did you feel just to find? Did you like, hey, we need more deals?
We didn't know
anyone.
We didn't know anyone, or I hate to say we didn't know anything, but he didn't wholesale. We didn't even know. We were watching YouTube and meeting at night and saying did you hear about trying to and lending and oh wait, maybe we could lend. And when you first get into it, you're like, we could do all the things. You go to a conference and there's somebody speaking on everything, and you're like, we could do it all,
Airbnb arbitrage and all of these different
everything
things,
that don't go together, right? And so you go home and you want to build this big team, and never works. Never works. So we did all that. We did all the things and realized they don't all work for everyone, and especially when you're doing all of them at the same time. So we learned that very quickly. We also realized what we wanted for ourselves, which is really important now. We travel all the time, and we were getting calls from rentals when we were traveling, and we couldn't really do anything about it. The second time we were on the road in Texas, we got a call. I can't remember what it was, but it was about our rental, and I said, we need to do something different. We can't do this. It's too stressful to be on the road and have rentals, people calling. Even, put them with a rental company, you would still have to call and say, hey, can we spend $12,000 for whatever, and that was just too much to think about. So we did pivot from there.
And what did you do from there?
So we were wholesaling. We weren't rehabbing anymore. I was like, Corey loves to rehab, but rehabbing is the same way. You have to be there and have it finished, or you're going to have this huge loan payment. So we started wholesaling, going back to the basics, wholesaling. And Corey flips land now. He loves it. And he's going to start doing some new builds. He loves that stuff, and I'm totally fine with it as long as it doesn't interfere with our freedom, because
Right.
we've finally gotten to the point where we could create that for ourselves.
Right.
I don't want to ever go back to, like having to, oh my gosh, the phone's going to call, a renter's going to call or whatever.
Yeah, it creates anxiety when you don't know what the next minute will hold and how
Yes.
serious it's going to be. And when you're looking at your phone, the phone rings and you have immediate anxiety, that's not a fun place
Yes, and that's, with rehabs, it's the same way. You have contractors who aren't showing up, inspector, whatever. It's just, there's just so much, and that doesn't fit into what we want for ourselves.